Yeah, that's right. Yeah, said that to me for a moment. Just the last.
So, like, how would you describe what gender is to you? Like, what does gender mean to you? Because words like gender, I mean, are so broad, right? Like, and it can refer to so many different things. But, like, what it means to, like, LGBTQ plus people, and also as somebody who is defining yourself as genderqueer.
Gender is not for, like, the term gender wasn't made for me, you know, that's made for everyone else to understand. You know, all these terms are not for me. They're for everyone else to get comfortable with me, you know?
So many people exist in a binary situation, whether that be in gender or race or class or whatever. It's like you're either one thing or you're the other. And if somebody's not fitting in that category, for some reason they perceive that as a threat.
Because it's always about simplifying, right? And gender specifically play that roles of simplifying, like, oh, we put this in blue and then we put that in pink, and then everybody else figure out which one they go into, right? But I think, like, in our society today, in our generation today, gender is a very complicated, it's a whole book, it's like a university degree.
We're all constantly learning about stuff. It's not like you're alone in this journey, like, things constantly change. I'm gonna learn new stuff, like, that maybe Tress knew, like, 10 years before I did. The way 10 is, like, whatever, you get it. But, like, it's not like a give or take situation. It's like a push and pull. It's like we're working together. It's like we're all human, you know? We're all evolving, like, always.
Everything that we're talking about here is very personal. Like, okay, like, me and Firoz can have a conversation, right? But then we can also talk to someone else where, like, you know, it'll be like a totally different thing, even though it'll be like a totally different conversation, even if it's about the same topic.
Really curious about is that school seems to have so many binary gender specific policies. It's like, even when I was growing up, it was just like boys over here, girls over here.
My old school is like that, my old high school.
So how do you handle those situations if you find that you are genderqueer or you're not identifying with those binaries?
I kind of just go with it just because my old school was very judgy. Just to put it, like, nicely, like, if you wore, like, a band t-shirt, you'd be bullied and stuff like that. If you wore pink and you were born a male and stuff like that, you'd be judged and you'd be bullied. So it's kind of like, just go with it until you're out of it, and then
It's like a survival moment, right?
Yeah, but all of my friends are really accepting. Even some of my other friends are, like, gay and lesbian and everything, so it's really easy. Like, I don't hang with people who are very judgmental about that stuff, because it's just easier that way. So yeah, but my old school is very judgy.
But even if you're not going to be accepting, you don't agree with it, there is that idea of respect.
Yeah.
You know, one of my best friends is like this super Christian person who, like, does not believe in homosexuality being, like, right, okay, or anything. But they still respect me. You know, they still have that space where they're like, that's you, like, that's fine, right? And so even if you're not gonna, like, even if you're not open to it, even if, you know, you don't want to learn about it, which is fine, that's on you. That's your journey, not mine, right? Have that respect.
Yeah, just dehumanize it.
That's honestly, I think, like, at the end of the day, like, I'd rather have someone respect me while disagreeing with whatever I do than have someone who's pretending to be accepting.
So it's like when you're dealing with gender, what kind of, like, ridiculous, like, stereotypes have you faced?
If you're gonna, like, if you are genderqueer, anyway, like, non-conforming, you have to, like, show it on the outside. It can't just be an internal thing.
In my community, it's a little bit even, like, more ridiculous, because, like, we know black community and hypermasculinity, and so there's a strict definition for what masculinity is. When you look at, like for instance, when you look at the context of, like, Blackness, right? There's that strict, rigid, like, if there was a line, that would be like a brick wall. That's what that is. And anything that does not fall under that becomes everything else. It's like, for instance, that's why it's like from the same community, that's why you hear, like, if even in identity and just in being and in representing yourselves, it's like almost every single thing is done to present gender without gender in the contest, right? It's like, who's the man? Like, who's the man of the house? Like, not only who's the man of the house, it's like, yo, who's the thug? Who's the thug though? Like, it's one of those, like, it's very, very hyper. It's very hyper because it's like, it's all of this weight attached to it.
So many of these misunderstandings, too, are also institutionalized.
Because of stereotypes now, especially now in TV and all this, we're seeing gay used as an insult. You know, like kind of bash someone like, girl, did you? Oh, yeah, girl, he gay. You know, and it's an insult, right? And being gay in the way society norms view it, right? Being gay is tied to being feminine. So if you're bashing someone because they're gay, you're bashing basically your femininities, you know? And not all of it, but in societal views, that's what ties gay together, right? Like being feminine, being snappy.
Will look at me and be like, oh, but you're a girl because you don't present masculine. You know, like, and for like a lot of my high school career, I like tried really hard to like present masculine. Like I bind every day, and, like only wore pants and like had short hair. That was all fine and whatever, but it's also like that's only me sometimes, you know? Like it's not me all the time, and just because I'm not binding on any specific day or wearing makeup doesn't make me a girl. It just means that this is how I'm presenting. So there's a lot of people who are like, well, you can't be gender nonconforming or you can't be non-binary because you look like a girl. But it's also like, what does look like a girl even mean?
Obviously, the institutions seem like flawed, and they need work, and our education system needs work, and even sometimes our parents need work. What do we say, or how do we support young people who are questioning their gender identity?
There's like this like sort of like policing attitude towards like gender identity and sexuality, where like if you don't get it right the first time, people like scare you away from like trying ever again. But the idea is that we're all here to learn, right? And the person that you learn most about is yourself, and only you can like really define yourself. So like when someone is trying things out, just be there for them and be like, it's okay to like not get it right the first time, and like it's okay to try on different like terms, and it's okay to like present yourself in different ways until you feel something that really works for you.
So where do young people go for help? Like, where did you guys go for help?
Terrence
Parents.
here.
Parents,
We love you, Terrence.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys talk a little bit about this place? And just how it's helped you, how being with each other's helped you, maybe how...
Well, the Wi-Fi's pretty shit. But
aside from the Wi-Fi.
But no, it's a really good space because like, okay, from like what you see here, this is like a tiny fraction of the people who come. Like, we're pretty great. Like, I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a toot. Like, we're pretty great.
One final question. How has it felt being with other gender nonconforming friends and people?
Awesome.
Amazing.
So
Oh,
blessed.
so blessed.
It's like you have to like, it's like your entire life is like explaining one thing after another, but for once in your life you can drop one explanation. And even like one explanation is like so nice. It's like there's like a weight lifted off you.
I thought I was pretty wild, goofy, and everything that I could be back when I was in school and in my entire like life frame. But then like amongst those folks, I was just like, wow.
I mean, we're all fighting a fight, right? But here we kind of tend to, we're allowed to put that fight aside and just be ourselves, you know, just not have to worry about once we step out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for like chatting with us and like hanging out with me and teaching us so much about like what you guys do here at Rexdale and like really filling us in about gender.
Thank you so much.
Don't leave this conversation. Join our group chat by commenting below and subscribe here.
So that's the affirmative.